Good morning and welcome to Skill of the Week Part 2 for the collagraph. Now, remember I started with this collagraph. I did add a few little mosaic squares to the bottom just for some texture and interest, and we're going to make the actual collagraph today. So what I have laid out is newspaper, the papers that I want to use, and my paint colors. And I did get a round paintbrush. I also have a container of water and some paper towels just in case I need it. So I'm going to kind of focus this on this area just so you can see what I'm doing here. And I'm going to start with my lightest color because I want to make 3 different prints. And I'm going to go towards the darkest color because I'm not going to rinse this off each time since it's cardboard. I'm just going to go right over the top of it. So I'm using colors that I think might go well together if they would transfer to each other. So I'm going to shake this up a little bit, and I need to make sure I have enough newspaper laid out that I can do this without making a giant mess everywhere. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the light color over here where I can get to it without messing up my paper or my collagraph. And I'm going to take my round brush, and I'm just going to start brushing it on here. Now, I've never done this way before. I usually use ink. But we're going to try this and see how it works. I may need to add water to my paint, but I'm putting it on here pretty thick. And I got to work fast because if I allow it to dry, then it's not going to transfer to the paper. It'll just dry onto the cardboard. So I'm putting it on here fairly thick. And yet spreading it around so that it covers all of the areas that I want to have printed. So working fairly fast, but don't slop the paint around. Try to be careful with it because you don't want to get it on yourself or on any other people. Now, see, I used quite a bit of paint, didn't I? I might even just pour it right on here, just for speed. It feels like that particular paint is a little on the thick side. Okay, and usually with collagraphs, you would run them through a printing press. Well, we don't have anything like that. So we're going to use what we have. And that's our own hands. Okay, and as soon as I'm ready, I am going to carefully lay the paper down on top of my collagraph, and I'm going to press. Just work it back and forth, pressing my paper so that I could get all of my textures printed onto the paper. And I might have needed to wet my paper first to be able to grab that color off of there. So we'll see how this works. And if it didn't grab the color very well, I might just wet my paper first. Okay, let's see how that turned out. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Okay, I got some interesting forms and colors. I kind of like it. Okay, so I would lay that on the drying rack, and then I can see if I need to take any excess off with my paper towel so that I can move to the next color. So if you didn't glue these on really well, they're going to want to peel up on you. Okay, so just keep folding that in, and then I will rinse my brush out. I don't think I'm going to need to wet my paper, but I'll move to this color now. Let's see how that turns out. Oh, different kind of cap. Used to have a snap cap. Now it's a screw top. So put that in a new place. Okay, I've put a lot down, and now I'm going to add that to the top trying not to mix it with what I have, but if it mixes a little bit, it's not going to hurt because it's blue, and my base one was green. So I can just lay it all out here, and it should be a little easier to spread because I have a wet base, so it's not soaking into the cardboard so quick. You can see the cardboard is starting to bow up a little bit because it's getting saturated with liquid, but we'll just press that down when we make our next collagraph. And the next one might print just a little bit differently because it is a little bit more wet. So we'll see what it looks like. But you can see I'm kind of making sure everything is spread and not having blobs of paint anywhere. I might need to put it on a clean piece of newspaper because I'm going to have all this paint around here, and I don't want that to print. I just want what's on the collagraph to print. Okay, I'm going to move that. So you can see it's kind of sticking to the newspaper a little bit. Okay, got it on here. It's nice and shiny. Clean my hands off so I don't get it onto the paint, onto my paper. Get a clean sheet, and I'm going to line it up. Make sure it's all covered. Press it down, hold it, and just little by little, running my fingers back and forth across the top, and then running it down the sides, back and forth, till I get everything printed on there. All right, now you can see why you have to hold it down, because you don't want it moving around as you're printing, otherwise your collagraph print won't come out. Okay, that's a lot different, okay, because the colors were a lot wetter, and so some of my things didn't show up very well. So what we might need to do, because I like this one better, this one turned out more interesting. What we might need to do is just allow this to dry a little bit more before we print another one. So that's a good learning experience, seeing what it's going to do in between each one. And I might have gotten too much paint. Like I said, I've never done this particular style before, or this particular way of doing a collagraph before. So everything is a learning experience. I do like the first one better. So what you might want to do is print the color that you like the most first, and then we'll let that dry, and we'll let the collagraph dry before you do another print. All right, thanks.